Hey, I'm 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗆. This is PAMcast for November 21st, 2023. This is our agenda over here. These are the things we're going to talk about. So, PAMcast is our monthly discussion between me, the founder and CTO of TechIDManager, and all the existing customers of TechIDManager, and anyone that kind of wants to join in and see what we got going on, see where we are product-wise, see what's coming up, what we've released in the past month. So, you got me here on the screen talking, and off on the side over there, you got a little minion. We have Emily. Say hi, Emily.
Hi.
Yeah. So, basic format of this is real similar to what it was last month. We're going to talk about who I am, what I'm doing here, and then we have these other things we'll talk about. So, first, we have who am I? I'm 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗆. This is PAMcast. This is actually from Hawaii. I recently became a grandfather. My daughter is married to a Marine, so I'm staying on the Marine base in Hawaii for a little while to see my grandson, visit him. So if there are any glitches or pauses, it's because the internet provided by the government for our Marines on the Marine base is number one. You know? So that's what we got going on here. I'm also the founder and CTO of TechIDManager. So, you know, I know quite a bit about the product. That's who I am. Why you should listen to me? Because I kind of know what's going on with TechIDManager and where we're going, stuff like that. So that's me. That's who I am. A little nervous because got to go see my grandson after this. And then we got Thanksgiving tomorrow. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Next on our agenda is Have It Your Way, PAM like you like it. Our goal of TechIDManager is privileged account management for MSPs, and all privileged account management and privileged access management situations are not the same. So we intend to be able to give you privileged account management the way that you want it for your processes and procedures. This means that we have a whole host of options for privileged account management. This kind of ties into the recap from the last PAMcast we did, the last one, which is our first one. We talked about managed versus just-in-time accounts. It means managed accounts are accounts we automatically create and manage everywhere. Just-in-time accounts are accounts that are made when the technician requests them with the rights that a manager chooses beforehand. There are pros and cons for each. That's why we let you have it the way that you want it. All right. Also, in the last PAMcast, we talked about some product updates, the logging costs in Azure, default account creation in AD, and tech client account hiding. All those things are still there. They seem to be working just fine. None of those seem to have had any real issues. So the big thing we're going to talk about here for PAMcast today is multiple instances of agents. The way TechIDManager works is you have the management console where managers go, you have the tech client where tech clients get access to their credentials and does all the decryption, and then there are the agents that run where accounts can be created and maintained. Our agents usually by default have one instance, but you can have multiple instances that let you do different things. Each instance shows up, we'll start from the technician's perspective. Each instance shows up as a instance here. Like this particular instance on this test machine desktop digital lab, I have a DA instance, I have an SA instance, I have an SA-SQL instance, and I have a WA sequence. So me as a technician gets 4 different types of accounts on this agent with 4 different types of rights, because the policies and procedures for that particular client say that you have an account that's a domain admin, you have a different account that's a server admin, you have a different account that's a SQL Server admin, and you have a different account that's a workstation admin. This lets you do each technician gets all these types of accounts that are unique to them, and you can say each one has a different prefix. If your policies and procedures are such that you should have unique accounts that way, they give you different levels of access, TechIDManager does that. How does it do that? Well, if we look at the bottom of the setup documentation for the domain service, down on the bottom here, you have all the same stuff that everyone saw when they did an install. They have all the command line options. Down at the very bottom are instance commands. So if you want to set up a shared user or a lapse instance, shared user and the name of that user. If you want to set up a specific privileged, a PAM instance, set up that, and you give it some name that you want. And this will make unique accounts inside the domain service for each type of thing that you set up. And you can configure each of these instances shows up in the management console with that name related to that machine. So then you can configure them each. You can grant some people some type of access on some agents and different people different type of access on other agents. To set this up, it's the same command line interface that you're always used to for TechIDManager. So if we do domain service.exe space show, on this particular instance here, you can see that we actually have 3 instances set up of the domain service of our agent running. We have the default instance, which is the options for the default instance. We can see it has one client GUID 5.3b something something, and it connects to one central host address. It actually connects to ch006. And its friendly name is testing. It has all the information that's specific to it. But if you look at the next, there's a shared user instance named AS_test. This is actually for a different client GUID because 2 different MSPs can manage the same set of servers, the same client. You could have one MSP that's first level support and a different MSP that's second level support. You can have corporate MSPs and instances, or not instances, but like franchise MSPs. So the corporate entity has access to all the domains and machines as well with unique accounts or shared access. And the individual franchisees have individualized access however they want. And you can see this is actually because the different client GUID, it's attached to a different hosting server. Same thing, RMM name you can set because this is a service account. That's one of the new features we'll talk about is we are actually rotating a service. So the Ruffian logging service is the service that we're rotating for here. We'll get to that in a little bit. And there's a different shared user instance called BS_test. That one was AS_test. This one is BS_test. Same client GUID as the other, same server as the other, different friendly name, different RMM name. And if we log in to the management console, we should see for desktop, we see here there's an AS_test instance that shows up as an agent and a BS_test instance that shows up as an agent. But we don't see, well, because it's my testing machine, we actually do see the default instance, but that's an older default instance from a different version. But we'd have to log in as the different client to see the default BS_test, the default desktop instance. We also have a bunch of older instances because it's definitely a test machine. Instances come and go all the time. But these 2 instances, we can be managed separately and differently. You can set who has access to the instances, what rights they have on those instances, all differently. You can say who sees it. So that's what those are. Kind of thrown off here. Lots of stuff going on. So that's what those are. You can also do, if you want to remove the instance, you can remove it. I don't know why you want to do that. You can also, there are 2 other interesting things about instances. You can run do not run for an instance, and you can set do run for an instance. So if you have, like if you want to just do named instances, you would create, install the domain service, set the instances. To set an option for an instance, the command line looks like domain service.exe, the type of instance like shared user, we'll do BS_test here, friendly name, this is BS_test friendly name. So we can see that currently friendly name for BS_test is Martin BS_test account, but we want to change that so that the command line is domain service.exe shared user BS_test to tell it what instance we are changing the friendly name for, what instance the rest of these command line arguments apply to. Then friendly name and the friendly name we want to set. We can see that we've changed that, and then now if we do domain service.exe space show, we'll see we changed the friendly name on the instance of BS_test. We changed it to this is BS_test friendly name, or FN. So anytime that you want to set an option on an instance or on a shared user, you always need to prefix that with that thing. So whether it's shared name, shared user, or instance, you prefix that and it sets it. So, but if you leave those off, like if you just do domain service.exe, rmm name, this is the default rmm name, like that. Because we did not specify an instance or a shared user, if we do domain service.exe show, we'll see that that rmm name applied to the default instance. So in this way, you can have multiple instances all showing up in the management console, all doing something different. Same thing with and this applies for both the 𝗏𝗄s shared users and the PAM just regular type of unique creating account. Create unique user instances. So does that make sense? Does anybody have questions about that? If so, type them in the chat or the doobly-doos down below. I think you can type questions on both YouTube and LinkedIn. That's how those work. All the options, such as phone number, email, username configuration, displayed name, OU, they're all individually configurable by agent. So if you want to set the specific OU for an agent, you just specify the instance name, such as domain service.exe instance. To make a new instance, you just put a new instance name in there. So let's call this instance PAMcast, and we'll set the OU for that to be mit.admins. And then if we do domain service.exe show, we'll see that we now created a new instance of privilege account, or the PAM instances that make unique accounts for each person. The name of that is PAMcast. We can see that the central host for that is 6 because it is using the default. If you don't set the client ID, it uses the default client ID. So it's using the default client ID, and it's set all that stuff up. So in general, to make instances of things, you just make different sets of options for each of those things. And then it does all the things that it does. You can do this for domains, you can do this for local machines, and you can also do this for Azure tenants. For the Azure tenant, you rerun the install script. It'll ask you if you want to install a new instance. It will ask you if you want to update. If you say no, it'll ask you if you want to install a new instance. You say yes. It'll ask you for an instance name, and then you just go through. Hey! I think I'm back now. That's what happens when you use government internet.
I believe we left off at, you were just about to talk about the refer a friend.
Oh, okay. Hopefully everything reconnected. We're still streaming. So, since we didn't have any questions, or my internet's so bad we can't see questions, one of the two, we have for the rest of the year a special running because we love our clients. We love our customers, our clients. If you refer a friend, you get a month for free. So tell them when they sign up to let us know that you're referring them. Almost all the MSPs we work with are in some sort of peer group, either a management peer group or a technical peer group. Mention TechIDManager, tell them to check it out, have them do a demo, and then if they sign up, we will give you a month for free. All right, that's our thank you and our Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy New Year, all that kind of stuff wrapped into one. Refer a friend, we'll give you a free month at whatever tier you're at. So that could be up to, up to $1,000 value for some of you people. All right. We would love if you mentioned us in your peer groups, in your technical peer groups. If you run across some internet post or forum that's asking about privilege account management, say, hey, check out TechIDManager, tell them I sent you, and we will figure out who you are and give you a free month because we love our clients. All right. So for next time, what are we going to talk about on PAMcast? It is in December. It's right near Christmas. We will talk about some of the new features. It'll be a real similar, if you noticed, this was the agenda for last time. This is the agenda for this time. They're real similar. We'll have the same format. We'll talk about who I am, have Pam your way. And then we will talk about some of the new upcoming features. There are several features that I am very excited about. It's like walking on stage as an actor and saying, have a good show or good luck. You really want to tell somebody to break a leg. It's kind of superstitious. But I will step outside that superstition and I will kind of tell you what we're going to talk about. We have a 𝗕ification coming. We have a shared password vault coming. And we have some changes in the management console which help with some top-down overall management features. That's kind of the brief overview, little snippet, little preview of what we're going to talk about next time, and some of the product features that are coming before next month. So that's what we'll talk about. I will also be not in Hawaii. I will be back in South Carolina so I'll have my whole setup. Hopefully we won't have any internet snafus next time because we won't be running on, I love our government internet. We will be running on fiber internet instead of Wi-Fi. All right. So let's see. Is there anything else? Oh yes. The little minion is pointing at me and saying, remind people to review TechIDManager. If you are on Channel Program or if you use Google ever, look us up, drop a review. If you do a review on Channel Program, I believe the first 5 reviews you get a free $15 Amazon gift card from Channel Program. You don't get anything from doing reviews on Google except our appreciation and our love and our thanks, which is very valuable. All right, so that's the PAMcast for November 21st, 2023. Thank you all for being here. If you have any questions, call us